Since 2009, Ubisoft has been releasing new Assassin's Creed games annually. This year they're releasing 2 games into the market, Assassin's Creed Rogue for the 7th generation hardware and PC, and Assassin's Creed Unity for 8th generation hardware and PC. In Unity, players are swept off to Paris in the thick of the French Revolution. There they play as Arnaud, an assassin avenging the death of his adopted father. He's joined by his love interest and lifelong friend Elise, a Templar. Together, the two unravel a plot that spans between the 2 ancient enemy factions.
Don't I know you, boy?
I doubt it.
Strap him in!
Oh, I do.
Wait a Strap him in! Shit!
Unity introduces some new game mechanics for the franchise. On the technical side of things, it's set in the gigantic open map of Paris, where players can go in and out of a good number of buildings, explore catacombs underground, and it's all done in the new crowd systems, as players can see screens jammed full of NPCs, both friendly and foe. For the first time ever, players can pull off hidden kills within huge crowds of people, making the Blade in a Crowd moniker more apt. It's also the first time ever that the franchise is using a free run up and free run down system to help players smoothly navigate the massive world. And finally, cooperative play has made its way into the Assassin's Creed universe, and it's a welcome addition indeed. Players can hook up with friends, team up with strangers, or if they're feeling talented enough, they can try to conquer these massive missions on their own. Players can also customize their characters on the fly right from the game's menu, selecting different colors and various armors and weapons to suit their playstyle. Players can beef up their stealth, their armor values, their health, or their ranged abilities using a set number of skill points that are earned from completing specific missions. I can almost hear someone saying it right now, but it's an Assassin's Creed game. What playstyle do you need? They're all so easy. Not anymore. Finally, after years of chanting players, Assassin's Creed is primarily a stealth game that does not focus on combat, but instead it rewards being stealthy. The combat is still pretty satisfying. Chain kills have thankfully been removed, and guards no longer continually pour into an area, resulting into cataclysmically huge piles of bodies. Snipers are deadly, and depending on their level, they can kill you in a single round. A one-on-one fight can be okay. 2-on-1 is doable, but when the guards start running towards you, your best bet is to run and hide. Health does not regenerate. You can instantly heal using your limited supply of medicine, which can be bought or looted off of corpses. In the right circumstances, you'll be dead before you even get a chance to use it. Finally, I love it. It feels like Assassin's Creed got right what it meant to set out to do so long ago. The balance between combat and stealth feels perfect. No, it's not a straight-up stealth game, and no, it's not a straight-up action game. It's a great balance of the two. Unity is a challenge, not an insurmountable one, but definitely a step in the right direction, and because of it, I'll be playing the cooperative missions with friends for a little while. Now that the game basics are out of the way, let's move on to the criticisms. The new free run up and free run down idea is a good one, and for the most part it works well, but I have to say that this is one of the more frustrating Assassin's Creed games to date in terms of movement controls. 99% of the time running and climbing works as it's intended, but that 1% of the time when Arnaud will jump off of a wall, or climb something accidentally, or not climb something accidentally, it's enough to sneer at. The problem lies mostly in the fact that there is so much in the environment now that the game has to do its best to guess as to what you want to climb or not climb. The increase in world detail results in a decrease in control. This doesn't break the game, but players should definitely know what's in store. Because of the increased difficulty, players will be dying a lot more than before. I want to note here that there is still no difficulty option on the franchise. As hard as the game is, I would still like to personally increase the game's challenge level. Dying is not the problem. The load times are. Reloading from a death or loading from a fast travel can take a very long time. Gamers who have been calling for the death of the frame story have finally won. There is no time spent outside the digital world. Personally, I find this to be a massive blow to the series because what happened outside the Animus in the real world interested me just as much, and sometimes more, than what happens inside. Because of it, Assassin's Creed Unity does next to nothing to push the story forward in the modern-day conflict between the Assassins and the Templars. I firmly believe that companion apps are universally horrible. Conceptually, they seem like a cool idea. Use your mobile device or a tablet to increase the game's usability, like a map screen. But in terms of execution, they're never that simple or convenient, and in some cases they appear to lock players out of content. Unity is the worst offender of this affliction that I have ever seen. Unity wants players to link up to Uplay, and download its companion app, and link it to initiates. Assassin's Creed 4's setup wasn't far from this, but in 4 some of the mini-missions could have been played directly in the game. Here the map is pocked with yellow and blue chests that in order to access them you need to play games outside the game. Yes, the end result is probably only a few extra bucks, or maybe an item or two, and the game is plenty fun without these items. But the landmarked chests are a constant reminder that you aren't connected enough. Arnaud and Elise and the supporting cast are French, so you would assume they would speak with French accents, like how Ezio speaks with an Italian accent. You would be wrong. They speak in English accents. This is a problem that both Hollywood and games share. Historic events that happen outside of the United States all have characters afflicted with English accents. But considering the game's pedigree, and the fact Ubisoft is a French developer, I'm disappointed.
Go on. I'll distract them. Trust me. Meet me tomorrow at Café Théâtre. I'll explain everything.
You're mad. I'll be there.
I may be a little late.
I tested the game on the PlayStation 4, and performance-wise, the game runs pretty well. There are occasional moments when NPCs may act erratically, or bodies might clip strangely when they go into ragdoll mode, but that's par for the course with most open-world games. Unity does take a frame rate hit once in a while. This might all sound like a lot, but in the end, I feel Unity has much more good than bad. The game's huge map with tons of extras and tchotchkes to collect will keep gamers busy for a very long while. Some of the new missions definitely take a cue from the Arkham franchise, as you use Eagle Vision to find clues and solve mini-murder mysteries. The mysteries themselves aren't particularly hard, because the culprits practically instantly confess during the investigation phase, or wear t-shirts that read, "I swear I didn't kill that guy you just found," but they do offer a nice change of pace. The story itself is pretty engaging too, complete with a few unexpected twists along the way. The ending, on the other hand, was very anticlimactic and lacked the impact that the series has been nailing so far. But despite the limp ending, the characters are well-rounded and interesting. Arnaud isn't just a sticky, sweet vigilante, always out for justice despite his Bruce Wayne-esque origins. He follows his own path, and more often his own heart, or his own rage. He acts irrationally, sometimes violently and criminally so. But Arnaud and Elise are at their best when they're playing off one another. Their relationship is probably the best part of the story. Star-crossed, furiously devoted to their own goals, they fight more for themselves and less for the factions they stand for. The chemistry between the two is believable, not just because of the things they say, but because of the subtle looks they give one another. I love Elise's character and her story. She's daring, skillful, and absolutely stubborn, but still charming. But her world, more than Arnaud's, is crashing down around her. I almost wonder if the game would have been more interesting if it was set from her point of view. The new Assassination missions are the best the series has seen yet. Players are given a target, a wide open area full of enemies, and total freedom as to how they want to execute their mission. Targets are often inside grand palaces, atop well-guarded towers, or in the middle of a jumpy crowd. There are a few mini-missions within the assassination quests that can help you on the way, like releasing prisoners or bribing the cleaning staff to leave a window open for you. Pulling off successfully sneaky assassinations has never been so satisfying.
Finally saw recent, did he? What's our cut?
The cooperative gameplay is a great addition to the Assassin's Creed franchise. It appears to come at a cost to dropping the competitive multiplayer, which I've enjoyed in the past, but it never seemed to retain the audience it deserved. A good number of the cooperative missions can be played and completed alone, which makes for a great challenge. A few missions, however, are impossible playing alone, even for the most skilled players, simply because of time constraints. I cannot speak to the game's connectivity for playing with specific friends, because I don't know anyone else who owns the PlayStation 4 version of the game, but I can say that the matchmaking system worked pretty well prior to release. No, there are no grand adventures on the high seas in AC Unity. Instead, Unity feels like it's trying to recapture the magic of using one large open world, like what was seen in Brotherhood. For the most part, Unity is a very enjoyable game that will give players tons of playtime, even before touching the cooperative missions. At first, I was pretty reticent about Unity, but the gloomy setting of the French Revolution makes for a great assassin playground. It's not all wonderful, however. The ending is lacking, the frame story has been axed, and the parkour controls could be a little tighter. There's definitely more to love here than hate, though. The world is criminally short on cooperative stealth games, and now that Assassin's Creed has finally balanced the act between combat and sneaking, I can recommend Unity. This video was made possible through generous fan donations on Patreon.
Ils ne te trouveront pas. Non. Car nous sommes cachés. Ils ont des yeux pour voir, des oreilles pour entendre, des nez pour sentir. Mais nous sommes à l'abri grâce